Dark Souls isn't the only franchise that is considered Souls-like. What other games are out there that give Dark Souls a run for its money? What's up guys, I'm Roderick, aka Rodman, and welcome back to another video. And in this video, we're going to be taking a look at Souls-like games that aren't Dark Souls, that are very, very good and that you should definitely check out if you are a fan of the Souls series. So let's get right into the video. The first game that I have on the list is going to be a game that I actually completed for the first time within the last few months, and that is going to be Cuphead Don't Deal with the Devil, or Cuphead for short. Now this game is absolutely phenomenal. The goal of this game is to defeat various bosses throughout the islands to retrieve their soul contracts so you can give them to the devil. And obviously that is way easier said than done. These bosses are very, very, very difficult. Honestly, some of these bosses are a lot more difficult than actual Souls bosses. So if you want a game that's going to give you a real challenge, Cuphead is definitely up your alley. This game isn't for the faint-hearted though. Just because you've played Dark Souls and things like that, don't think you're just going to have an easy time with this game. The thing that I like the most about this game is definitely going to be its art style and its animation. It's based on cartoons from the 1920s to the 1940s, which I think is very, very unique and very, very cool. The two creators of this game actually hand animated everything, which I thought showed a tremendous amount of dedication. Some more things that I like about Cuphead is that the bosses are very, very unique. The music is absolutely amazing in this game. And one thing that I thought was great is that you don't just have to fight the bosses over and over and over again. You can also do something called run and gun stages, which is literally a side scroller, kind of similar to a Mario, but Souls though, because it's going to be very, very hard. So if those things sound interesting to you, I would definitely give this game a try for sure. So let's go ahead and move on to the next game. So 9 times out of 10, if you know about the Souls games, you know about Sacro Shadows Die Twice. Now this game is great game that I recommend everybody should play, even if they aren't necessarily a fan of Dark Souls. Now I know a lot of you guys could be questioning, well, Sacro is a Souls game. No, I beg to differ. The combat is just too different. I can only really think of 3 similarities that Sacro has to the rest of the mainline Souls games, and that is 1, you're going to be down a lot. 2, you have your checkpoints that's similar to a bonfire, such as, you know, your idol. And 3, you have something similar to an Estus flask. That's literally it. The combat is way too different. Sekiro is very story based, and on top of that, everybody who plays Sekiro plays as the same person, and they're going to pretty much have the same play style as well, which is very different from Dark Souls, which has a lot of character customization. Some things that I like about Sekiro is I believe that the combat is a breath of fresh air, because when you take a look at the mainline Dark Souls games, it's pretty much the same type of combat. Dodge, get one attack in, dodge, get one attack in, until the boss is dead, which I believe can get a bit stale. But the combat in Sekiro is just absolutely, it's just like literal perfection. I can't think of anything that they could do to make the combat any better, even to the point where you can't even cheese a lot of these bosses. You're gonna have to fight these bosses straight up. For example, everybody knows about the fireworks in Sekiro. You can say just use fireworks. Eventually the boss will actually get used to the fireworks and it won't work anymore. Stuff like little things like that make this game just that much better. But Sekiro is an amazing game. It's going to give you a run for its money. It's very difficult, but it's definitely a breath of fresh air. But let's go ahead and move on to the last title. So for the last game on the list, I'm going to put the Neo series. Actually, one of my good friends introduced me to the Neo series, and I fell in love with it immediately, especially being a fan of both Dark Souls and Sekiro. If you don't know, Neo is obviously a Souls-like game that takes place in ancient Japan, which I believe that is very, very cool. Because Sekiro doesn't necessarily take place in Japan, it takes place in Ashina Kingdom. But this actually takes place in Japan, which I thought was very, very cool. The gameplay is actually very smooth, but I will warn you guys, this game is very, very, very difficult. Definitely more difficult than Dark Souls, especially when you're playing on hard mode. I'm talking about 1 or 2 hits and you're dead. But if that sounds interesting to you, I definitely would check out this game. It actually just got remastered for the PS5. My favorite game in this series is definitely Neo 2, just because I think the combat is a lot more smooth. And that's what I ultimately play these games for, is for the combat. But that's going to wrap it up for this video, guys. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and tell me down below what other Soulsborne games that you think I should check out that aren't Dark Souls. Rodman out. Peace.